look at Saunders research method, research model research method. So this one of the, I would say, well-known book lah, research method. This one books. So this one is one of the 2012. That's quite old. This one. So let's say 2017, 2015, 2017. I would say 2017 looks alright. Okay, I think 2017 is okay. Still okay. This one also. So I will recommend this book for you to use as your textbook. Right, as a, I think I've shared with you this book. Okay, so today our class is about this one. Text screen. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Usually in this class something went wrong. Cannot use annotation wrong. Something wrong. What is wrong? Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm going to share with you today. It's only short presentation. It's about writing your report. Right. Usually this class, Dr. Wahab will give our select tech team lah. So I will share this one with you later on when you finish our class. Okay, writing your research report. So if you look at the book that I share with you, have I shared with you this book? The textbook. Textbook. I think I have, right? I have shared with you. Yeah, textbook. Textbook Research Methods for Business Students, 5th edition, 17.9 MB. Okay, if you look at this book, it's in my. I'm opening my phone just now. It should be under chapter 14. Chapter 14. Can I pull out my message? Not so sure I can do that. If you look at your WhatsApp group, it should be I share with you in the month of October the textbook. So what we are discussing now is today. It's about it's about 10 now. So maybe by 11 finish lah. Sekejap saja. I will not take this long because this report or this chapter, we will discuss the chapter usually towards the end of your journey lah. Let me see. Okay, I think it's better, right? So okay, this is my screen. Can you see my screen? Looks should be okay. Where is my oh, hilang dah. Okay, this okay. I hope you can see my screen because there's so many screens now. I don't know which one. Okay, so I strongly recommend for you PhD students or master students also to have research method book. It's like compulsory lah. I would say compulsory lah. You must have a research method book. Either in soft copy or digital copy, up to you. But you must have one, so they can refer to lah. Like I'll say, I want to repeat this again because very important. It's like I will say this again because it's also a reminder for myself juga. You must always attend a research method class at least once a semester. Although our class will end soon, very this semester will end this month. When you submit your proposal, that means this will be the end of the class. But does not mean that you stop. Always see what's happening in the this environment, research method environment. There always something new lah. Like last time I share with you. Nowadays you must take note that uh, now we have new tools like AI. We have new tools like how to collect data from social media platform, right? So meaning your sources of data is not necessarily primary data, can be also secondary data lah, which can also be powerful juga, as powerful as primary data in terms of what conclusion or what information you can get from secondary data. So report, today we discuss about report lah. So I hope you can see my screen. Kalau tak nampak, beritahu. The title is writing your research report lah. So if you open your WhatsApp group, this one I share with you the beginning. Kalau tak ada, let me know. I can share you again. Title chapter number 14. Let me see. Can I pull out the screen because tajuk dia research method. Check. Let me check. Maybe I can share with myself. Okay. Go. Okay, great. So when you do your report, okay, there are two types for our case. For our case, our report will come usually into format. Into format in our case lah. I'm talking about final report. So final report meaning in your case, your final report will be a thesis. Okay. Your dissertation will be a final report. If you are going to present in conference, your report will be your journal. Okay. These two are very big difference. Journal and thesis very big difference in terms of content, in terms of quality. So in terms of content, quality and quantity, of course, the highest one is your dissertation, PhD or master, depends on your program. So the highest one is dissertation, highest in terms of quantity and quality. Quantity wise, usually about we expect around 80,000 words onwards. Okay, so if you have not reached anything about at least 60 lah, at least 60,000 words lah. If you don't reach 60,000 yet, your supervisor will not allow you to submit. You must have at least about 80,000, 70, 80,000 lah. That's safe quantity, amount of words, including reference. That's quantity. Quality wise, which for PhD, usually you have to have like in terms of model, operation model, conceptual model, at least we have two different ideas, which means must be able to compare and contrast between two models. So that's a PhD or dissertation. But for conference or journal, that will be something different. That means for maybe I can split. I can divide into two. Conference, maybe I can call it journal or conference lah. So these are two different sides. So for a conference, usually the quality or the depth is less than journal article. So journal article, the quality is a bit higher than conference. Of course, the highest one will be your PhD lah. Your PhD or master dissertation in terms of quantity and quality. So very important for you to differentiate between these two. Because I saw some students. Remember in our presentation in our chapter, if you look at here, my slide here, okay.
Sorry, Doctor.
Yeah.
Can I a question?
Sorry.
Tadi Doktor tadi Doktor ada mention quality wise apa pasal recitation or citation?
Uh,
Atau recitation?
yeah.
Citation, is that citation or recitation?
Dissertation. Dissertation.
Dissertation. I
This is
see, I see.
jangan silap I'm talking about the quality and quantity of course I can also I can also talk about citation juga. I mean reference lah. Okay, we can also talk about reference juga. So maybe I talk before I go to slide number 1. Maybe I go to before I go to maybe I skip chapter 1 first. Chapter 1 slide 1 I go this one first. So if you look at the structure of your report, this is almost common lah. I would say 99% macam ni. This is the structure of your the content of academics reports lah. Okay, it could be thesis, it could be your conference, it could be a journal. The structure is always like this. However, there are some field, some discipline that does not follow this discussion. This structure, the one that I show you just now. For example, if I'm not so sure this is applied to all area or only to this particular study or what. I noticed that in terms of, let's say, if you are doing history, sejarah, or you're doing something like social studies, in particular anthropology. When I read the thesis or the journal, they don't have this kind of method. The method is not discussed. I'm not so sure why they don't do that. Especially, this is particularly very prominent, very obvious in history. Because history is not my area. That kind of strange lah. So, however, I can tell that when you do any discipline, it could be science, it could be arts, it could be law, it could be in any discipline. And these are the format that we usually follow. Abstract, introduction, review, method. So when you look at this structure, you must have something in your mind, something in terms of how much should I allocate to this structure. So let's say this 100%. Let's say this all of this started from abstract to appendix 100%. The highest, the biggest percentage should go to your results. The highest percentage should go to your results. I would say maybe about 20%. 20% of the content should go under the results. So you can do roughly about you can do our own mathematics, our own math. So usually started from the lowest one. Appendix tak kira. Appendix we don't count appendix as percentage. Any journal or any thesis will not count appendix as number of words. So appendix you can dump everything. But the rest of this is consider the number of words. Except for abstract lah. Okay, except for abstract. Abstract have their own numbers or number of words. Usually a number of abstract lah. Usually number of words for abstract usually about 500 words usually 500 words, which is about one page. One page single spacing or single spacing one page and quarter macam tu kan. That's for thesis. For journal usually 200 words abstract. Okay, so if you look properly you must have some idea lah. So that's why I said when you prepare your draft later on, you must have this strategy. Strategy meaning how many words should I put. So usually reference about 10%, not more than 10%. That means for every 10 pages, one should be allocated for reference. So you have 20 pages. Out of 20, 2 will be references lah. So that's how roughly how you calculate. That means if your reference is too many reference, something is not right. Let's say you have 100 page thesis, 30 pages is for reference. Something is not right there. So you must play with the game. The game is that you must follow the number of reasonable words. So usually reference usually about 10%. The intro also maybe about less than 10, maybe 5 to 10%, something like that. Literature will be a bit bigger because it's where you are discussing all the models, past study. So I would say roughly about maybe 20%, 15 to 20%. So you can do your math lah. Around introduction maybe 5 to 10%. Literature review maybe 15 to 20. Maybe I should write it down. Maybe better write that way. Maybe my suggestion maybe between 5 to 10%. You can play around with this number and then literature review maybe around I would say 15 to 20. Right? Method maybe around. I hope by now you know what idea with regard to maybe later on I just play around with the numbers first. Methods, okay, roughly introduction. Okay lah, we have to tell you what should be inside here. Introduction is where you put your idea, what is wrong with current situation, or what is good about this current situation, what is missing in the current study. So either you're talking about something bad or talking about something good. Why? So which means that when you do your introduction, you give your reasons, your motivation why you want to study this thing. So basically introduction ni your own words. Basically this is your own words. Literature review mostly it's not your own words, but you rephrase it. Because literature review is where you present past study. Meaning you take from past study, you collect maybe 50 to 100 studies, past study relevant to you, and and you present here. So you figure out here what can you conclude from past study about the new one you are studying. Something like that. That's the idea. So which means introduction mostly your own words, literature review mostly not your own words, but you are like something like you it's like apa ni, reverse engineer lah. I mean you take all the parts that you know, then you reconstruct lah. So methods usually about maybe 10 to 15. Okay, and then you percent. Results I would say 20 to 25%, something like that. Discussion maybe not that much, usually not much, but sometimes the discussion is high, depends on the area, especially when you are doing uh, qualitative study. So usually this one will become like 15 and 15%, 10 to 15%, and maybe conclusion will be, I would say, maybe 5 to 10 max. Or so this one will be around maybe 5. Then reference will be about maybe about 10%. Something like that lah. So if you do your math, it's just about, so if I take the highest number, it'll be 10, 10, 20, 30. So 10, 30, 45, 45 plus 25, 70, 70 plus 85, 85 plus 90, 90 is about 10. So about that lah. Some could be higher, some could be lower. So it depends on your this conclusion, maybe 5 to 10% maybe, and something like this lah. So if we do the math, it should become 100% roughly lah. 5 to, I would say, 10%. Okay, contoh lah lebih kurang. So reference usually I would say 10 lah. I would say 10 be okay lah. We can give it like 15 lah. Kalau nak banyak sangat kan. But not more than 15 lah. I can forgive 15%, but more than 15 I cannot forgive. It's too many. It becomes not not realistic. So that's about the number lah, about the structure, percentage wise lah. About the quantity wise, your report lah. So abstract usually tak banyak, usually around, depends on context. Some under 50 words, depends on ni lah, between 200 to 300 words. Itulah lebih kurang. Appendix, this one unlimited. Bukanlah unlimited, boleh sesedap rasa lah, macam sesedap rasa ni apa benda dia punya bahasa Melayu dia, as reasonable lah. Okay, appendix, these are something about the structure lah. Okay, so that's how you measure lah. So if you look, it's like a shape of vase. Contoh lagi kurang, human body shape. So I'll go back to chapter 1. So basically maybe this slide you have to revise a bit lah. Because nowadays maybe I'm not so sure whether this slide is still relevant it's still relevant, just that nowadays kan kita ada AI. AI can help you a lot in terms of writing lah. So I'm not so sure whether this one is relevant anymore, because in the old days we used to plan, right? I think still relevant, just that in terms of AI, AI will be involved in every stage lah, when you plan what to write, and then in your style of writing, okay? So usually Okay, let me tell you what's the problem with PhD students. At least from my own experience. Because when you are doing your PhD student and you are doing your PhD at the same time you're also working full time. This is where uh, problem occurs. Big problem occurs because you have no you have no time to plan. And this is the issue lah. When you have no time to plan your your thesis, and then it becomes your the program of PhD will not it become hard for you. Not because it's hard to write, because there's no time to write, and that's the problem when you work full time. So that's why I always suggested my students, if you are working, of course you have to work because you have to earn money. Unless you are rich, unless your parents are rich, unless you are rich, then working is not it's not a problem. Money is not a problem. Then it's good for you. But unfortunately, many of us is not so lucky. So when you I mean in terms of money lah. So when you have that limitation, you must plan your time properly lah. Okay, this is my advice for myself and also for you lah. So because when you want to, although we have I know we have AI, we have ChatGPT semua tu, which help a lot. I admit it helps a lot. When AI comes, it helps a lot with me. I hope uh, you can also use AI to help you write your nil. I'm a bit surprised actually. I'm a bit surprised because I don't understand why people don't use AI. For example, let's just yesterday or 2 days ago, I received email from even within staff. This staff, he wants to show apa ni, they have something about new. They want to communicate about system. If you are writing in English, which is not your native language, ask AI to help you out. So when I look at the way it's writing, it's not that the message is not clearly conveyed. So I don't understand why ada grammar salah sana sini kan, a wrong mistake grammar here and there. So why don't you use AI to write your memo, to write your some sort of like manual lah, manual how to use the system lah. So in your case as well, make use AI, tapi jangan pula copy bulat-bulat. Do not copy and paste exactly. If you do that, you will surely fail. You will surely have problem later on. So use AI in terms of idea, in terms of how to write properly lah. AI can help you a lot. Either in your own language, either in Malay or in English, or I'm not so sure about Arabic. Is it good or not? I'm not so sure. But as far as I can see, English is good. The Malay also not bad. When we see the how AI write paragraph. So that's why I said nowadays it's not. I don't suggest. I don't mean it's easy, but it's easier lah. I mean, it does not mean that everyone can do research purely with AI. You still need to learn how to do properly lah. So you must have time for you to write. You must use proper prompt lah with AI. So that's my own suggestion, you must have plan in terms of timing lah. So time is very crucial here. So at least I don't know how long you work, but at least you must have prepare in a week. You must some spare few hours lah, few hours rest, doing some research, doing readings, then put back in writing. As of now, I found it easier in terms of writing. I said again, make use of AI. Do not. However, AI ni ada issue sikit. AI, there is issue of AI. When I see AI, the way AI write any documents, they try to make it as I would say too fancy. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. For example, in Islam we have the concept of I don't know how it's called. If you our just look at our kalimah syahadah, la ilaha illallah. If you look at the kalimah, right, and you look at how AI write, it has similarity. In kalimah syahadah, you say that la ilaha, it means there is no God. Illallah, that except God. So that means when you study it, when you look at how AI write the sentence, he states something A and he do next week opposite to A. But the problem is sometimes you find that when AI write a sentence, the opposite to A does not match, does not tie up. That's a problem. You must be careful about that. In terms of AI writing. But the idea is good. If you study Quran, you find the way writing is very good, very elegant. In fact, La ilaha illallah pun is so elegant. Elegant in the sense that La ilah, that means there's no God. Ha illallah, I mean, that means it's not A, it's B. Betul lah kurang. It's not A, it's not B. But A and B must be relevant lah. Jangan pula A and B to something tak kena mengena langsung. It must be close. It must be closely related lah. That's how. But sometimes when I say AI, write me something about something, or do a draft of something, the way AI write to you is sometimes not good. Not good in terms of the idea lah, but sometimes the idea is good. So careful about AI. So now, just like since we have AI, the only problem is that time lah. Okay, you need time. So when you write, you must writing, phrasing, wording, layout, and pages. This one is about the setup lah. I mean how you arrange your work. Okay, so started with writing. So that means very important to start with writing. You cannot only read. You must write something a day lah. At least you have. I think what you can do, in my opinion, my opinion, after dealing with AI for the past 1 year, about 1 year already. What you can do with AI is that you must, I don't know what AI you use, but I use ChatGPT. I know that many other AI. Gemini also good. DeepSeek also good, I would say. But when you communicate with AI, I would suggest that since AI is getting better and better now, you must try to communicate in terms of you must challenge the idea what is coming now. You must challenge AI about this idea. Any idea kan, apa AI nak cakap in terms of challenge in something like let's say EV, electric vehicle, you challenge AI, why, let's say macam ni, why EV is good for you, why EV is good for environment. Nanti let's say, and then you see how AI responds, and then from the response and then ask again. So so that's what how you try to to have conversation. That means what I think is good about AI nowadays kan, it allows you to interact, to properly inquire, uh, without having to go too much time lah in finding resources. I also find it, in fact, when you look at, I tried with few things already, a few times already. When I asked about something about Quran, I snapped. I took photo of these words. Ask ChatGPT what this word meaning. I would say is quite good. Although it's not detailed, but the idea is there lah. So that's why I said must plan properly lah. You must have allocate some time. So let's go back to our structure. So this is how you should structure your report. Now for your proposal, for your assignment, your assignment we only have proposal of your study or your research. Of course, there's no results, no discussion, there's no conclusion, there's no reference, of course. So what I want, or what I expect you to submit for this class, only the content, the chapter of introduction, literature review, and methods only lah. That's all lah. Only three chapters is enough lah for the proposal. So now go back to our first. I don't think Dr. Wahab is coming. Okay, I think I will do this alone nampaknya. Usually I pay Dr. Wahab. Okay, tak apalah. Doesn't matter. Okay, the abstract. Tercari pula. Abstract. So, okay, the abstract ni, let me tell you what usually happen. The abstract, or maybe I'll go back to this one. So, because you are just in, I assume many of you are in the first semester or in the second semester. Okay. You, at this moment, maybe you don't have to think much about introduction. Okay. Don't think much about introduction. Don't think too much about results, discussion, semua ni. At this point of time, because you are in semester 1, your focus should be here, literature review. You must focus, your focus must be here. What is happening now in your area of study lah. Okay, so this you must allocate a lot of time at this point of time in this section or chapter. What do you want to put in this chapter? Okay, so you must spend, I think, at least 80% of your time during the first 1 and 2 semesters doing this only. In terms of literature review lah. Meaning to say, you must explore or find out what's happening now in your field of study. This will affect everything, because without a strong literature review, everything else will fall, will collapse. So this one is very important in terms of what methods want to use, not methods. What method people use in this area of study? Is it quantitative lot? Is it a lot of qualitative? Is it a lot of mixture? What you must figure out in this area, in your area of study, which is more dominant. Is it is quality more dominant? Is quantity more dominant? What can, and then you must ask yourself, in this area of study, why this type of approach is more dominant? Why qualitative is more dominant? Why is one is more dominant? Something like this lah. So literature review at this moment, your focus must be literature review lah. In the first 2 semesters ni, your focus must on this literature review only. Uh, I'm not saying that method is not important, but this one will give you idea about what method you should use based on past study lah. So that's why the content of the tertiary review usually is high, only second high after results lah. Okay, so go back to next abstract. So abstract is although abstract is very short, to say usually 100 words to 500 words, depend on the what kind of report lah. So if a journal or conference, maybe 150 words is enough, but for thesis, of course, not enough lah, 500 words. So what should you write in your abstract? Usually these are the things you should write lah. You must tell what are the tension, tension, what you are looking at lah, usually macam tu. What is missing ke macam tu, or what is not yet been studied, and then why it is important, macam tu lah kan. So the abstract is very short, but although it's short, very important lah, because that's first the first glance. So based on my own experience, and usually when you it's one relevant for journal article, usually if they usually kan the journal will only read at your abstract, especially those popular high ranking journal kan. They just look at the abstract, and based on the abstract they will decide whether they want to proceed and reading your manuscript or not. So that's why abstract is very important. Otherwise, if they find that your study is not useful, is something's missing or major thing different, it will straight away reject. So that's why abstract is very important. This is where you put what are your research questions, what were research question, why this is important. So usually maybe about 1 or 2 words is enough. What words? 1 or 2 sentences is enough. And then how did I go about answering the research question? So so you tell the meaning to say it's like selling a product lah. Meaning you say, you show to your consumer, okay, I'm coming with this idea. Why this is important? Now I'm coming to you. I'm going to show you my study. It's about what I'm going to answer, or what angle lah. So what did I find? A response, or what you're finding, and then the conclusions lah. Draw to your research question. So basically, it's about roughly it's about, if you can, not that many sentences. So what were research questions? One sentence. And why was this important? Sentence number 2. Sentence number 3. How do I go answering about this? Meaning the methods lah. So basically, if you think carefully, this is like your first chapter. Research question. So also the first chapter, the first questions, your introduction, first chapter. Maybe the first 2 lah. So that means if you look properly, research question, why it's important, is like chapter 1, chapter 2 combined in 2 sentences. Lebih kurang 2 or 3 sentences. How did I go about answering the research question? It's about your method. Things like that. That means from here, structure ni, you condense it into the abstract ni, becomes more compact lah. So macam ni lah kurang. So what were my research question and why were this important? We go chapter 1, chapter 2, compress that. How did I go about answering this question? It's method, compress that one, answer it in one sentence. What did I find in response to my research question? That will be your chapter number 4, methods. This one, methods pula. Results. Results. So, so this, why did I find out this one? This is my results. The conclusions will be number. Conclusion is one, conclusion. So very simple. Although simple, I find that some students are missing this one. So usually in the thesis, you should have a lot of space to write because you have 500 words, which is a lot. But if you're writing for journal, it can be tricky. Because journal usually wants you to give them 150 words or 200 words, max 250 words, not more than that. Can be tricky lah. So to condense everything, to condense, let's say for a journal article, 7,000 words, 8,000 words into just 200 words, can be tricky juga lah. So you must find out how to inform your reader lah. Okay, apa dah? Oh, I have to go fast. Chapter, introduction chapter. So what you should have introduction chapter is what is the main concern of the focus of your study lah, and why do you think that this was worth studying? Why this is important lah? Okay, so this is where I find that many students fail to convince the reader, examiner, just because something has not been studied before, meaning it is important to study. That's usually what happened. Just because, especially I would say this among Middle Eastern students, students coming from Middle East. The argument always like this. This particular case has not been studied before. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Just because certain things has not been studied before does not mean it's worth spend time to study, to look at that matter. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not worth looking. That's why nobody is studying that. So it means you must give idea. Give support with more reason. Why you want to study a particular issue lah. So that's why I said very important to look at your literature review kat sini. So it's because if you don't have strong literature review, this one will collapse, easily collapse. So literature review will. That's why I said literature review is like your foundation. If you have a strong foundation, literature review, everything will be strong. So very particularly important, you must look at what past study has been talking about this subject matter lah. Whatever subject matter you are studying. Let me see. Quantity wise, how many? Some students ask me how many articles should I look at? Okay, usually for journal article, at least 15 for journal article. 15 reference, solid reference lah. Meaning, just no. Sometimes the problem here with this one reference ni. Again, the problem is student just cite a particular journal, a particular book, but he himself just did not read the book. That's a problem lah. So when you cite a book, make sure at least you have idea lah what the author was talking about. Don't just put there because you want to make your thesis thick. Nampak banyak. It's not like that. So make sure your reference support your uh, this one, introduction. So again, let me recap. Just because this particular study has not been studied before, I want to study that. No, it's not. It's not how you frame your idea. The way you frame the idea, this particular issue has not been studied because important because something is missing. Okay, control lebih kurang. Let me tell you. Maybe I want to share with what I'm trying to do now. I hope I managed to publish this one. Okay, like I mentioned to you that I was looking at the case of Arkham. I'm interested in this case because when I was young, I was involved in this group. Indirectly, I was involved in this group. So I want to study. When I look at this particular group, most of the studies, uh, most of the studies only involve secondary data. Those published studies does not engage with member or the followers of Arkham group. Even if there is, it's not clear how many, what question did they ask. So what I'm trying to do this time is that, or to prove to the, to convince the editor that what's missing is that in this particular study, what is missing is that we don't have input, or we don't have insights from member of the group. I'm talking about the group of Arkham. So when we don't have the voice or input from the member of the group, we don't have a clear picture what's happening in this group. What is wrong with this group? What's so good about this group? What is so bad about this group? So that one is not there. What I can see that the study always picture the group as very successful, very good in terms of business, very good in terms of dakwah, something like that lah. But that's according to secondary data. But from primary data, we don't see that much. So I'm trying to show this evidence lah. Why we need primary data to show the other side of Arkham, what is happening inside. So that's I'm trying to do. Hopefully I've got some feedbacks already. Hopefully manage to publish lah. That means I want to show you why I think it's worth studying. Give reasons lah kenapa lah. So look at the past study about. So I look at past study about Arkham. What's missing about Arkham? Because my idea is that Arkham is a very influential group, Islamic movement in Malaysia in the 60s, not 60s, in the 70s and 80s. It became more influence in early 90s, but then suddenly government banned the group. So what's wrong there? What's happening there? So this this is what is I'm trying to say lah. Which it's not the argument based on literature review. It's very skimpy. Very edgy lah, ada sikit some here and there, but the idea is not strong in terms of convincing, at least from primary data lah. So that's how you try to portray, to frame your study lah. So again, literature review, I don't have to say again. Literature review, this is where students have problem with regard students take everything, everything about this ambil. Cannot do that. So you must filter out, because there are a lot of material out there, a lot of books in Malay, books in English, books in Arabic, books in Japanese, book in Korea, banyak, a lot of books. Depends on language pun, even in Chinese, a lot of books. So which one you want to choose? filter. You must filter which is more relevant to you lah. So this is where you become over, orang kata apa, overwhelmed, banyak sangat, too many information, so must filter which one you want to do lah. So that's why I said literature review is very important. Always look at the literature review. That's why I said AI can help you. This is why I like AI, because AI can help me in terms of past study. Uh, what what people have been studying, why why and how lah, basically, why, what and how, what's happening there lah. So these are all the past studies that has been done, and then from there you figure out what you want to do lah. So it helps you in terms of your context of study lah. What in what area. Context could be time frame, kan? Just now I said time frame could be masa lah. So it could be studying during after World War, Second World War, after First World War, depends on your context study lah. So you try to figure out what are the context could be also in terms of theory, kan? Before this, it talking about theory. For example, theory of economics, kan? Maybe you can touch from another story angle. You mix theory from sociology. Maybe you can mix up theory from Middle Eastern scholars, kan? So you must mix up lah, because you got to understand people have their own bias. For example, people from the Western, usually they don't look at Eastern scholars. They reference mostly from Europe or Americans saja. They don't look at the Japanese, they don't look at the Chinese scholars. So depends on the ni lah, the context study. So context could be many angle lah. Could be time frame, could be theory, could be the methods juga. Just now I mentioned about outcome tu. Okay, my idea is that why most of the past study don't look at the don't pick up data from the followers, members of the organization, members of the group, members of the movement. Tak ada, nobody do that. Don't know why, but this is why I want to say lah, why. So what's been done before, kan? This the ni lah, about the study that you're looking. Hypothesis. So hypothesis ni maybe for hypothesis ni a bit tricky sikit. This is a bit tricky because if you are doing qualitative, there's no hypothesis. I mean, the terminology hypothesis is not being used, but they use it differently. They use it the word propositions. Again, propositions. That's for qualitative lah. But for quantitative, we use the word hypothesis. So different wording, different terminology, but same idea lah. So jangan pula kata tak ada hypothesis, ada. Just that we don't call it hypothesis. For qualitative, we call it some sort of like proposition. Research approach, kan? What research approach has been done before. It's all about literature review lah. Sekejap, bateri akan habis. Okay, I think I have to go fast lah, otherwise saya akan jadi lama nanti. Talking about some method ni memang perlukan masa yang agak lama, but I will try to be as quick as possible lah. Okay, teknik collection data macam mana, how do you do it's all about the past study lah. Meaning you're talking about what people have been done, and then you then towards the end, you basically what you're trying to say here in this literature review ni, you try to figure out what has been done before, and then from there, so just the chapter should reflect the content chapter like this, of course lah. Then barulah you come your own idea how you want to do the methods. So agak kecil sikit, tak apalah. So the method will give you some sort like approach lah. So method basically you're talking, that means let's say tertiary review ni talking about model ke kan, the model konsepnya apa, what are the framework of the ideas kan, is it sociology, is it business, is it uh, scholars from Middle East, is it scholars from Japanese, is it scholars from Europe, because you got to remember um, if you refer, if you rely too much on Western scholar, yeah, this is where I always argue with my Middle East students from Middle East. You cannot copy paste what Western people are doing and then use that in your own country. When your own country, don't use the same method, don't apply the same rules. For example, in Western European, American, for example, they have a democracy government. Government is more democracy. They have people can vote, people can choose who they want to become their leader. But your country maybe it's not. Your country is monarchy. How can you use monarchy? You apply democracy and monarchy. I'm not saying that democracy cannot be. The idea may be applicable, but there are some angle it will not be compatible. That's why I always argue with my students. You cannot take that's for example the theory of TPB, theory of plan behavior. Just because this theory is famous, you use that in your own country. Think again, your country maybe a monarchy, maybe what there may be some angle where the king will not allow you to do something which affect your model, the model of maybe theory of plan behavior. Kan? So you cannot simply copy paste model from European or models from Japanese, model from Korea in your own country. Setting is very important. That's why when you come to here, then you try to argue lah. This is where the argument will this way the method chapter you argue with in terms of what is different in your thesis lah. So this way you sit here what your setting research kan. The meaning to say you cannot just copy just because somebody has been doing it before, you want to do the same thing. This one also a problem macam ni okay, maybe I could add one more thing kat sini because somebody has been doing the same study at, let's say, US or Europe, you want to do the same study in your country. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. You must, from the literature ni, you must add lah apa dia, why you think it will be different. So setting dia lah, settings ni what is there any setting that can affect and influence your study lah kan, why you choose a particular setting. Also maybe ethical issue juga lah, especially when you're dealing with interview, getting information from direct from your respondent. So ethical issue will be raised when you are dealing with human, meaning to say you obtain that information from interview, you obtain information from survey. So there will be some ethical issue lah. Ethics can become either in terms of consent kan, permission to use that information, permission to use their names kan? So settings, participant, how many people will be, who are they kan, who are the participant, who are the informer kan, how many. So this one very important for you to disclose lah. to inform your examiner. First settings apa, and what year, or is it involve human being in the, is it involve, does not involve human being, maybe you are only studying manuscript only, so manuscript from what year to what year, and why you choose this lah, so set participants, how many, how they were selected, contohlah lebih kurang, what were their characters. Okay, so although we're talking about participants, you can also change, interchange with, let's say, manuscript lah. How many manuscript, again, how manuscript involved in your study, and how manuscript was selected. Boleh juga, not necessarily human, it can be things juga lah. It can be, if not some, I also see that some students are doing investigating video, YouTube video, or they are investigating movies or drama, movie drama or TV movies, something like this lah, or documentaries. So how many documentaries? How were they selected? This how you set the inform your ni lah, examiner. Okay, so basically the methods will tell the examiner whether your data is reliable, okay, and whether what the data tells you is correct lah. I mean, reflect the whole, reflect what happened in the group lah. Okay, something like this lah. Okay, apa dah? 11. Oh, tak boleh, cepat lagi ni. Okay, and then method chapter, and then the next one is the result chapter. I think can finish, insyaAllah, by 11:30 habis lah. Result chapter. Okay, so in method chapter, you tell the audience or to tell the examiner what setting, meaning what kind of data they are using, how you're going to approach that, the issue. Participants can be human, can be non-human, and then materials, meaning tests, okay? What kind of test you're using, okay? This is where what we call it measurements lah. Measurements, for example, macam ni lah lebih kurang. Yesterday I saw some. I read one particular journal article, but I don't find it convincing because the title says about something about governance, Sharia governance, the Sharia governance of a bank. This is published material, published article. It's already published, but I look at it again and I found it does not make sense. It does not click to my something is not right. When I look again, so I confirm with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT agrees with me lah. Something is not right about this article, because the article is talking about. Is it here? Maybe I can show later lah. It's not in this. It's in another laptop. The article is talking about Sharia governance. Whether the banks in Malaysia, Islamic banks in Malaysia, follow the Sharia governance. That's the whole idea lah. So this particular author is investigating, or is trying to show to us, the reader, whether Islamic bank in Malaysia is following Sharia governance. Basically, that's the idea lah. But when I look again at this material, at the manuscript, at this paper, I don't see this one. I don't see the test. I don't see what are the measurement. What are the instruments to show to convince me that this bank, these Islamic banks, are following Sharia governance. That's a problem. When I look at it, I try to figure out something is missing, and then when I ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT confirmed with me that this is what missing lah. And so that's why I said ChatGPT is good. When you think that something is not right, I couldn't figure out what is missing here exactly lah. But because I didn't write chapter, but I didn't read word by word, paragraph by paragraph. I just browse through. Something's missing, and I asked ChatGPT, do you see anything wrong with this? So, of course, the problem with ChatGPT is that kita tak cakap apa-apa, just ChatGPT will tell you this article is about that. That's where your knowledge very important. You must argue again with ChatGPT. Something's wrong with regard to this and this. And then ChatGPT coming back to you, yeah, okay, betul, something's missing somewhere here. That's why I said ChatGPT is good only if you have your knowledge. If you don't have if you have nothing, if you have no knowledge, ChatGPT will tell you whatever ChatGPT wants to tell you. So you don't have any idea. So what's missing is that that's why I said you cannot say that every journal article is relevant to you. I'm not saying it's not good. It's relevant to you. I would say it's relevant. So when I look at the journal article, what's missing is that this measurement tak ada. There's no measurement to convince me, because when you say that, okay, this Islamic banking is following or meet the requirement for Sharia governance. But when I look at the method, the result, the methods are basically, what methods are you using? The method is not clear. How the author measure from the interview, from the document, that the Islamic banking in Malaysia is following Sharia governance. So itu yang tak ada. That was missing in the methods. But the author claimed that otherwise, the author claimed that banks in Malaysia is following Sharia governance. But based on the method alone, the evidence is not there. That's what I argue lah. So by now you should know that not every article has the same purpose. Not every article has the same quality. And so this is one example where you can figure out that this article needs to improve more lah. So only people who has done a lot of research can tell this. If you've not done any research, you cannot differentiate this. You cannot tell whether this manuscript is good or not. Is something's missing or not? So how can you tell this chapter? This chapter is very important because this will tell you what method has been using in order to convince the reader that yes, Islamic banking has made the Sharia governance. These are the evidence. These are the method. This is what's missing lah. So very important. When you do this method chapter, you must show to the examiner. Okay, let's say you're doing a measurement. Of course, you need some measurement. You need to prove something lah. Otherwise, it's not called a study. A study, why you want to study? You want to say something. You want to prove something is good or something is bad. Why it is good, why it is bad, these are the reasons. Contohnya lebih kurang. So you must compare. That means you have to argue with the previous study lah. What the previous study has done is only from this angle, but I'm looking from that angle, which means my study is different. So that's how you add value lah. Your study itu lebih kurang the main idea lah. Okay, results. I think I'm coming back to almost finish now, which is good. So results where you present the facts. Usually this result chapter, you present the facts only, meaning your findings only. What the let's say you're doing survey, so you present, let's say 10% say this, 20% say this. So this is show that supports what's in lah. So show evidence of this, show evidence of that, lebih kurang. So presenting your findings with such objectives. So you connect back to your objective lah, what you want to study kan. And then okay, talking about the objective. This is once maybe I have to comment a bit about this objective lah. So when you do your research objective, chapter 1 so I said usually kan, chapter 1 tu we do last chapter 1 sini. If you do thesis or article this chapter 1 kita buat last sekali. Chapter introduction, chapter conclusion we do last. After we do literature review, after we do method, I'm not saying that we don't touch at all we have something here lah, but not just draft only conclusion of course also draft juga lah, but we dig deep here. So dig a lot of discussion kat literature review, methods and results lah, and then you go to introduction. Sesuai dia punya results ni, you must go back to your research objective lah. So it's like a circle lah. So in introduction you say what is problem with this current situation, why you think you want to address that study, why you expect to add, what you expect to improve, tentu lebih kurang. And then towards the result ni you put it back okay, what do you say, what have you found, tentu lebih kurang kan. So that's where you connect back to your research objective lah. Present, report your findings thematically in descending order on importance. Especially when you're doing interview because sometimes your interview the teams are not according to the importance so you must arrange properly lah the themes of your interview, tema I'm talking about tema report findings thematically in descending order importance which is more importance next to each other lah, lebih kurang whole idea so this result chapter will be okay, maybe I have to comment something about this sometimes you will find that results and discussion together in one chapter, boleh juga. There are some theses that combine results and discussion together, meaning to say not only you present your opinion, but you also comment sini. So discussion usually this one usually happens kat mana? This one usually happens in I found it usually happen in qualitative. In qualitative study where you only do, let's say, interview or you don't, let's say you don't do interview, but you do, maybe you are investigating manuscripts, or maybe you are investigating the content of YouTube video, or maybe you are investigating the content of social media, social media, maybe video, maybe TikTok video, whatever lah. So sometimes I saw this also happen, which is not wrong. It's okay, still acceptable, where your results and the discussion comes together side by side. Boleh juga. So what's different here is that in this chapter, results one thing, discussion another thing, another chapter. So the idea is that that means there are two approach kat sini. I have to tell there are two school of thoughts kat sini lah. One school of thoughts, the results and discussion separate. The other school of thoughts adalah results and discussion one chapter, means side by side, one after the other lah. For example, macam mana? Let's say present the facts. Let's say let's say you are doing interview lah, for example, kan? Okay, maybe I go back belakang sikit, one step back. Usually this kind of idea, results one chapter, discussion one chapter, usually when you are doing survey. When doing survey, this is what you do. The results will be here, discussion will be here. This one usually you see it almost everywhere when you're doing survey, which means you do your maybe your graph, statistics, maybe you're doing SEM, structural equation modeling, maybe you're doing simultaneous equation, kan? All those things lah. Could be economics, could be business management. The results will here, so it means you present the tables, present statistics, semua tu, and then you discuss the chapter kat sini. You mean interpretation lah, basically. Provide interpretation result, provide the interpretation results in relation to your question in your study. Which means you in here you will compare with past study, below study, and then what you're telling, making judgment kat sini. So this one usually happen in when your data is survey. You have split results, split chapters. Results lain, discussion different chapter. But when you read qualitative methods, usually interview or maybe focus group, you will find that the results and discussion together. Why? Usually because when you are doing quantitative or you're doing survey, the results you have to present a lot of table. Table 1, table 2, table 3, maybe about distribution of the data, distribution of your survey respondents, how many are young people, how many old people, how many are poor, how many are rich, contoh lebih kurang. So you present a lot of tables, a lot of figures, a lot of charts kat sini. So that's why you have discussion chapter, the other chapter lah, because this one takes a lot. Like I said just now, sometimes in most lah, I would say 9 out of 10, if you are doing qualitative, the results and discussion together, mainly because the results are not that a lot like survey. Maybe you present a few excerpts, quotation ke apa ke, and then you comment. Meaning the results come, present result, I mean what are your your informants were saying, kan? Apa faktanya, findings, what are the findings, and then you report, and then you discuss kat sini. I mean usually it comes together. The results, meaning to say in your results ni you set your team, team 1, team 2, team 3, team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, contohlah. And then you discuss within the discussion. I mean the meaning your for qualitative, the results and discussion come together because there's not much table to display compared to when you are doing survey. The results will be a lot lah. So that's why I said here, the results and discussion sometimes it comes together. So it comes together, it still a lot lah. The result and discussion come together, it's still more than 20%. So this one, it's not only one particular area, one particular way. Sometimes I said you will find that results and discussion in one chapter, especially when the matters are qualitative. It means there's not much things to display lah in terms of statistics. So that's how you find that this kind of structure happen. Because this one chapter, result and discussion usually for survey, but if we are doing qualitative, purely qualitative, usually the results and discussion comes together. Meaning, you discuss, you put here what the audience was saying, what the informer is saying, what you find in your observations, for example, if you're doing observation, I mean, present the facts, and then you connect to the research objective, and then you discuss here, make your discussion. You mean, for example, remember last few weeks ago, I showed to you my my own paper. So usually the discussions come together with the results. So what's the difference? Results and discussion chapter. The difference that usually the results are just facta, just facts, and not about your own opinion. Because in this chapter discussion, you are making judgment. Judgment means you are doing something like what is happening, what's happening between the lines. That means you are giving your own interpretation. Why this is happening? What are the factors influencing the results? So this is where judgment lah. Remember just now I said about the you cannot you cannot copy paste what people from West East Europe and Americans are doing and compare paste in your case, because sometimes it's not necessarily relevant. This how you make your judgment lah. Why you say it's not relevant? So maybe you can say that. So I say about the system, right? So the political system in your country is more towards monarchy. There's no such thing as election. So you cannot remove the leader. So how does it affect governance? When governance is about authority. When talking about corporate governance or governance in government, it's talking about authority. The power comes from monarchy. How can you cannot change monarchy? Monarchy is people who is a family, family who is controlling the country. So you cannot remove the family. So it's different from democracy. So you don't say that democracy is bad or monarchy is good, or monarchy is bad, monarchy is good, democracy is bad. It's not like that. It's you make your judgment lah. Why this thing happen? Contoh lebih kurang. So that's how you differentiate between results and discussion lah. Okay. So basically that's it. That's the difference between results and chapter discussion. So result basically what your respondents is telling you, and then discussion what is that you are interpreting lah. So usually, as I said again, usually these results and discussion are separated because you are doing survey. So when doing survey, there are so many tables, there are so many charts, there are so many graphs to show. That's why we have to break into two, discussion and results different. So for quantitative, I'm talking about survey, maybe you're doing about economics, Islamic banking maybe. So the results will be one chapter, but discussion another chapter lah. But if you're doing interview or observation, usually not. Results and discussion come together because there's not much graph to show lah when they're doing interview. So lebih kurang whole idea lah. Last one is the conclusion. So conclusion, so again, discussion is about how you interpretation, how you interpret the results compared to your past study, and then compare back to your hypothesis lah. And then judgment. So it means you're some sort of like giving your own opinion on what is happening, why it is happening lah. Itu lebih kurang. Because you got to remember, sometimes, especially when doing a survey, kan, when doing a survey has limit. And doing a survey has limit, because survey, even though you are asking your respondent why, say, let's say you want to know the factor of somebody doing something, so you have list down the reasons why lah, kan? But that's all a survey can do. Survey cannot tell you new data, kan? So you have to make judgment lah. You have to give idea or suggestion why your data says like this, not like the other study. Betul lah kurang. So that means here is that you compare your results of study, compare them with the past study, and if the results are almost the same, you must explain why. If results are different, you must also explain why. So you cannot just say, oh, results are the same, that's all. Finish, cannot. You must also explain why the results are same with this previous study. Support lah, give some idea lah kenapa. So discussions is different from results, because the results just you tell opinion from your informer, respondent. But here you tell why the respondent give you that kind of answer lah, lebih kurang, based on what theory, lebih kurang. So conclusion, so this way the conclusion part is very simple, because like I said, conclusion usually we don't put a lot, usually 5% to 10% saja, that's it. Sometimes even less, but 5 is, I would say, minimum lah, jangan pula kurang daripada 5. 5% is good enough lah. Okay, so conclusion means you go back to your own, the first question just now, and give back your answer lah. So conclusion of the whole project. So what do you think about this? Kan? What happened to this company? Why this company collapsed? Despite all the help from the government. Why does this outcome? Why this group still survive despite the banning from the government? I'm talking about outcome. Why people are still believing about this group despite government say this group considered deviant and sesat? Why? Lebih kurang. Suggest any particular practical application. So this is where the recommendation for the policy ke, theory ke, kan? That's why I said this one is not that much. Only for about 5% saja. Usually this chapter, conclusion chapter ni, there's no reference of past study. There's no reference of past study. But for the discussion, you must have reference to past study. You cannot have discussion on your own without any reference. So this one, okay, this one maybe you don't need to show any past study lah, the results chapter, reference to bibliography lah semua, don't have to. But discussion you must, because you want to discuss your study with past study. What are the difference? If they are different, explain why. If the results are the same, explain why lah. So you cannot go quiet about the results, just because the results are the same lah, similar with the past study. You must give reason why your results are the same, as if like your study is meaningless. Itulah kurang. Meaning you must give idea to the examiner that although your results are the same from past study, does not mean the study is useless. You must say something lah about your study. What your study is, what new, Basically, usually what the examiner towards the end kan of the viva, the examiner will ask what is new, kan? That's FAQ lah. The frequently asked question. What is new in your study? Apa benda yang baru? If tak ada baru, why you want to study kan? That's the logic of it lah kan. So last kali maybe limitation lah. Limitation ni maybe one or two paragraph cukup lah. Kalau ada banyak limitation ya. So that's all for the conclusion, and then reference lah. Reference at the beginning writing. Like I said, reference ni make sure you use the same style. If you want to use APA from first page, you must use APA towards sampai habis. Do not mix as you like. You cannot do that. If you use Harvard, Chicago, use Harvard, Chicago. If you want to use MLA, use MLA. If you use footnote. From first page towards the end. So you must be consistent. Discuss with your supervisor lah. Because some study they are more dominant using some certain style. For example, if you are doing history, sejarah. So if you're looking at history or references or material, they don't use APA style. For history or even law, they always use footnote style. But if you're doing business, management, economics, this style is usually Harvard or APA. I mean, author date. Whereas if you're doing history, law, maybe sociology, maybe they like to use footnote and not author date style reference. But make sure again, usually this one happens when you took too much reference. That's why I said the reference must be reasonable long. That's why I said beginning is now. Your reference must not only about 10% only. If reference touch 20% of your document, I mean a lot of your document are reference, something is wrong. Something is not right. So be careful about the quantity of your reference. Not only quantity, quality juga. Make sure your reference of high impact journal or if not high impact journal pun prominent scholar, or if not prominent scholar, prominent publisher, something like this lah. Because we know some scholars, if you are familiar in your study, some scholars are questionable in terms of the bias lah, kan? Some scholars are biased. You must know that, biased towards their own ideology lah, kan? So that's the reference. Be careful. So make sure whatever you put in reference, the one you have to refer referencing and citation. This one I strongly advise you, please check with library of Muslim Malaya, because they always conduct how to cite a reference, how to prepare bibliography. Check the library. Make sure you attend the course. It's very useful. I also attended once. I found it useful juga lah. Especially when you're doing a lot of your thesis. You reach 100 of pages. Kalau jurnal masih lagi okay, because you're only dealing with 10-20 pages long, not that much. But thesis cannot. You cannot do the same style with journal. Because it requires you to use maybe endnotes, maybe Mendeley. You know Mendeley? Also good tools juga. Appendix. So appendix ni just because it does not count as number of words, you put everything inside. Put minimum lah, tapi mesti ada. For example, what is the list of respondent? If the respondent allows you to state the name, put it there. Who are your informer? Or if you are doing observations, where did you go? If of places, even you have some meetings, who do you meet, where do you meet, contohlah reference lah, I mean not reference, uh, to make it kata apa, believable because you must remember, uh, there are there are cases, there are cases. I'm not going to like to sugarcoat this. There are cases where some students, because they got a lot of money, they didn't do the survey themselves. They ask somebody to do for themselves, for their study. They pay because they got money. They pay money, do the survey, send the money, and everything. But when when we ask for the who are the respondents, they can answer. How do you go to respondents? Why? I mean, it's not easy, especially when doing a study. To meet people, it's not easy. Not many people want to see you. You are a stranger, unless you are a relative lah. It's okay, kan? But if you are asking strangers about something important, they will not tell you easily. Unless they get something in returns lah, maybe some tokens ke, maybe vouchers for shopping ke apa ke, then they will talk. Otherwise, they will not talk. So be careful about that, so that you know. You must ensure that I have to stop. Make sure that in terms of your audience, not audience, your respondent, how do you get your respondent? How you obtain your respondents? Because you must know, it's not easy for respondent to answer your survey. If you send a survey, I can bet you, entahlah banyak mana pun, the maximum you can get maybe about 20-30 respondent only. Janganlah mimpi you can get a lot of respondent. Unless you offer them Shopee voucher, unless you offer them a touch and go voucher, then people will answer your questionnaire. Otherwise, do not have high hope. People will not answer your questions. You must give them some vouchers lah. That's why in API we have a lot. We can help student lah in terms of funding this one, especially data collection. Ask a supervisor lah, insyaAllah they can help you in terms of appendix lah. So appendix where you show to your examiner how you get your respondent. If you do interview, what kind of question you are doing, what kind of questions, I mean the protocol lah, what questions you are asked. So it's why I put the appendix lah. When you conducting interview, what are your questions, what are the respondents lah. Well, I mean, this gives something like the verbatim transcript. Not everything lah, at least maybe the first 10 minutes ke, maybe 2 or 3 pages of verbatim transcript ke, kan? You must have something lah to show evidence to your examiner that you are actually doing interview. You are not faking it. The interview is not fake, it's real. So show the examiner, these are the interview. Of course, the name you cannot reveal unless the respondent allow you to show the name lah. You got to remember, some respondent, sometimes the study you're doing can be something risky, can be harmful to them in terms of their safety, kan? Maybe not to them, but to their children, to their family. So be careful about that lah. So show to the examiner, these are the list of respondent, or these are the list of questionnaire, these are list of survey. When you conduct, contoh lebih kurang, show some screenshot. So you're doing survey, show your respondent, what are the questions, from what are the list of items, kan? And then you do it, when from survey you do statistics. Show them your statistics. What software are you using? Is it SPSS? Is it SCM? What is that? Show to the examiner your output lah, basically. Maybe what else? That's all lah. Basically to convince the examiner that you are doing proper research where there are the respondents, betul lah. Okay. So I think that's all I got. Last, lagi. Oh, style. Oh, surprising, I'm alone today. Tak apalah, doesn't matter. Usually Tawhab will come to tag along with me. It's like a tag team. So last but not least. Writing style ni, okay, sounds careful. Careful because if you read lot enough, you see that there are difference when you read academic article with newspaper article or magazine article, different. So usually for academic article, you usually there are two ways to do academic articles. Sekejap, ada tak sini? Oh, tak ada. Okay. Usually when you're doing I'm talking about journal article, there are two school of thoughts lah, or maybe two way to approach lah. The first approach is that you are describing this is what happened in this particular school, this is what happened in this particular movement, this what happened in this particular business. That's all. That's call it descriptive. Descriptive. But the other school of thoughts, we call it normative. Normative or prescriptive. Meaning to say, after you tell the examiner this what happened in this particular organization, you tell them they should not do this, they should do this, they should do this. The moment you write they should do this, and not that one, they should do this, not this one, it become normative. So be careful of that, because sometimes it can be dangerous when you write that kind of normative. Depends on the journal jugalah. Some journal don't like you to write normative. Some journal only wants you to write descriptive saja. For example, this happen in particular, let's say talking about 1MDB ke, talking about Arkam ke apa ke, this what happen in this particular organization. But you don't say anything about this should happen or that should happen. Betul lah. So lebih kurang. You can do that. I'm not saying that you cannot do that should happen, but the way you frame must be very careful lah. Not in the form of like khutbah. It's not Friday sermon. It's not a sermon. It's like more towards like consultative lah. Careful lah. So a simple sentence, especially doing whatever language lah, must be simple. Avoid grammatical error. This one easily you can use ChatGPT to help you, AI to help you. Beware using a large number of quotation from literature. So if you are doing quotation from literature, there are ways how to do that. Meaning usually, I'm talking about journal. Journal usually they will ask you not more than about maybe 3 or 4 lines. If more than one paragraph, it becomes problematic. I mean, taking direct from quotations. Preserve anonymity, meaning to say this one's ethics lah. Your ethical guidance. What else? Grammar. Continual revisions. Revision means just because you have finished your article, the study, doesn't mean that stop. You can always come back and improve that lah. That's what we mean by continual revision, meaning you improve further and further lah. So usually what happens is that when you have finished your, let's say finish your own thesis and you have published, actually can come back to your previous article and do it again by adding some new data maybe some new informant from different group of people, different perspective, maybe different theory kan. So that's what I mean by always continue lah. Alright, Alhamdulillah settle. By 12 dah habis lah. Alright, so I hope I managed to convince you that writing research report is not easy. It needs a lot of experience, a lot of work to do, but you follow the same, follow the formula, inshallah your study will flow smoothly. Of course, expect some problems, but you know that what your problem already are. You know that they'll you know you will face problem and you know how to solve the problem lah. So that's why I hope that this class help you a lot in terms of preparing for your journeys in achieving your PhD or your masters lah. The masters maybe it's not that difficult. It will be difficult although masters if you don't study a lot, if you don't do your homework, it will be difficult. But if you do your homework, inshallah, it will be I'm not saying it's easy, but it will be something that expected within reasonable expectation lah. All right, that's all for me. Any questions?
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Sir, I am Dilawar Khan.
Yes, Dilawar.
Sir, can I meet on Monday? Have you time, sir? In university.
Wait. I don't hear you. Sorry again.
Can I meet you, sir, on Monday? Have you time?
Yeah, no problem.
Which time, sir?
Are you in Malaysia?
Yes. Of course.
Oh.
I am living in IH International House.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, no problem. I'm actually I don't mind if you're coming from different faculty or different department. Just give me send me your WhatsApp. Contact me through WhatsApp. I don't mind, even though you're not my student. I can spend some time. This is my responsibility to guide you. From at least from my own experience, I can tell you from my experience. Okay. I want to tell you about. I want to advise you about article. It's very important because for you PhD students and so you must publish. You must publish. At least in Scopus, right? Fortunately, in API we have, I think, at least 3 or 4 already in Scopus. So hopefully you must write there. You must write in our article, but not me. For me, I cannot go to UM article also I can do, but for me I don't feel it right to submit to UM journal. I must submit somewhere else. So for you, I advise you, you don't go too far. Go UM first. Target UM API first. If not API, we also have like other faculties juga. From business school pun ada, business and economics. They also have Scopus index journal. Try to send local first lah. So inshallah, most likely you will find. Your work will be published there lah. So like I said, just follow the same formula. You must have your attention. From my own experience, why my paper always got rejected from editorial journal. But I can say that the way you write very important. The way you present an idea very important. That's why I find thankful we have AI. AI helped me a lot in terms of writing the abstract lah. Many times when I send article to journal, I mean, not talking about Malaysia journal, I mean outside Malaysia, always rejected, always reject. So nowadays when I got a few, looks like now I find that you must, the abstract is very important. If you write the wrong abstract, although your paper is good and the content is good, the abstract must give the idea that you are doing something different, different and valuable to the editor lah. Yeah? So the abstracts for me is like your first barrier, the filter lah, I would say. If you write good abstract, inshallah your paper will be accepted. Although the paper may be a bit sketchy here and there, but the abstract is very important. So abstract focus more. I mean, don't take like must take abstract very seriously. So your paper will be accepted lah, because I know some students have problem with graduation because they don't submit the article publication. So be careful. So hopefully you are well prepared lah. Because my time when I do my PhD at my university, they don't require me to do any journal, so it's a bit easy for me lah. Not easy in easy means not less burden lah in terms of publication. So for you in UM, unfortunately our standards not, I would say it's bit high from others because we have publication, but it's not that you cannot do, you can do because you know a lot of publication. So hopefully you can do that lah. And make sure you when you write your article, add your supervisor, and until your supervisor will not get, at least get some blessing from your supervisor lah, which is a good thing lah. Okay, any other comments, questions?
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Yeah.
My name is Amirul Shafiq. I want to ask regarding the one you said earlier about the attending conference. Is it compulsory for graduate, or it just for us to get a latest information or progress our field research?
Compulsory tu tidak lah. It's not compulsory. Not compulsory, but it is for me. It is a waste. It is a waste because there is budget. There is budget for you to attend conference. You just have to ask from the faculty lah. I'm sure there is budget. Maybe not full, but at least half. For you to have experience. Experience, it could be in UM also no problem. That means besides PD, proposal defense, you must also have experience in presenting as well as participate lah, dengar, listen to the conversations, which is very important in in terms of completing your ni lah. Also with networking lah kan, when you go to conference, you see people kan, you see some fellow PhD students juga, so you connect with other people lah, which is good lah, because you need some idea juga kan, in terms of how connections mula. Okay, ada siapa lagi nak?
Right, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, ada siapa lagi nak tanya? Yes. Tak dengar.
Yeah. Okay, Doctor. I'm Fanny. In PhD program. I would like to ask a doctor about the last assignment to our research research methodology course. What I want to ask is it if we submit the proposal, a draft of our proposal, and then in future or in the next after this semester, we have me and my supervisor have another topic, maybe there is a change between the proposal that I give to the research method assignment with the real proposal of my dissertation. Is it okay, Professor? Doctor?
Yes, actually, the purpose of this